And welcome back, everyone. I am Unstable, joined here by Railcoon for game number 3 here of TSL's Ragnarok up against SlayerSPuzzle. Winner of this map will move on into the winners match for Group I, and of course play the winner of Slayer's Arthur and NSOSO Seal. But let's jump straight into it, shall we? We've got Metropolis coming up now. Starting it down here at the 6 o'clock position is going to be our Blue Zerg, TSL's Ragnarok, going for a pool first opening because of the pesky probe harass. But he's going to get his hatchery down in his own.
The probe actually tried to block the hatchery as it was trying to go over to the third base.
Yeah.
That actually allowed Ragnarok to get it down to the natural. So it was a nice try, but unless you send 2 probes, it's not going to work.
Okay, fair enough. We do see, of course, on Puzzle's end, as our red Protoss up at the top, Forge Nexus Gateway, very, very standard, going for the Cyber Core to the right, or sometimes even a second gateway, to completely wall that off. And this suits Puzzle's style quite well, this map. Like, it's a very late game styled map. He can take his third base quite safely. Like, he can wall off completely, be setting as any kind of early bust, take down the rocks, get his third base up and running when he feels like it. On the other hand, Ragnarok, like, he played this game 2. He made a big mistake. Puzzle made a big mistake, and Ragnarok was able to take advantage of that, right? But in game 1, Ragnarok still went for the same kind of style.
Yeah, he's played the same kind of style both games so far. The only difference is that he had a few less drones in game number 2. I think what really hurt Puzzle was the indecision, though. Because, like, he made the mistake and then he sat there for a long time with a lot of minerals and gas trying to figure out what he wanted to do. If he'd just been a little bit more decisive about it, like if he dropped the robotics sooner, he would have had Immortals out. Or if he'd rebuilt the gateways a little bit sooner, he would have had a lot more units. So I think it's less about the fact that he accidentally canceled his gateways and more about the fact that he sat there and pondered about it for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do see Summoning Score up in the main, not walling off down here at the wall off, which is interesting. And it's likely just to let the second gateway go down. Of course, Puzzle had his probe down here at the third base and the natural of Ragnarok for a while. He knows there's no aggression coming, so he can get away with it. But as I was saying, I think we're going to see a very long game this one again. Oh, actually, Stargate play.
This is a good read from Puzzle because the fact that both games so far, Ragnarok has really cut a lot of corners in the early game. He really delays his gas. He gets a little bit behind on his army and just powers up to 60 drones as fast as possible and then starts making units. So something like a quick Void Ray, backed up with a few Phoenixes could really mess with him because he's not going to have any units. He's only going to have the Queens out. Those can get taken down by the Void Ray and Phoenixes, force him to have to drop a lot of Spore Crawlers, and really just slow down his economy. Probably lift up some drones as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Puzzle's actually quite a good air toss player as well. Like, he does a really good Phoenix micro. He's going for a Void Ray first, actually. Probably going out to try and take out that Overlord. And he does that a lot. He'll use that one Void Ray, clear out the Overlords, and then sometimes stops, and then sometimes follows up with a lot of Phoenixes, and you never actually know which one he's going to do, and it's a big coin flip situation for the Zerg, and that's why I like the way Puzzle does it.
Yeah, I'd expect like the 2-3 Phoenix follow-up, because we've been seeing that a lot recently, especially against this 3 hatchery style that we've been seeing the Zerg players do a lot. It can kill a lot of the Queens, and it forces them to have to adjust and throw money into stopping it. So, I mean, I fully expect that's what he's going to do. Yeah, there's the first Phoenix following this up. Void Ray's going to fly around and clear out this general vicinity of Overlords. Overlord will fly in and see that there's a Phoenix on the way, so it will die and get some nice information in return. But as we look back into Ragnarok space, he does have his lair about halfway done. And he has his Roach Horn and Evolution Chamber on the way like usual. So once those are done, he can throw up some Spore Crawlers and be alright, but he's still going to have to position his units carefully. Because we've seen a lot of instances where players have the Spore Crawlers up, but their Queens aren't in the right spots, and they get lifted and killed.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see the sentry down here at the wall off here for Puzzle. He's shooting the rocks with the Stalker for random points of view, but yeah, Ragnarok is losing a few Overlords now. He's going to be supply capped, but not all that out of the ordinary for a situation like this. But now look here, we do see the Phoenix follow up, and Ragnarok has gone for those Spore Crawlers anyway. Hydras are on the way. And look at Puzzle.
Really?
Oh, there it is. Okay, robotics facility finishing up as well. So
well, Hydras is a dangerous response, honestly. Yes. Like, because if your opponent commits to a large number of the Phoenixes and you get the Hydras out, you got to be really careful with them because they can just get lifted up and killed. Like, but they die very, very quickly to Phoenixes because of that bonus damage to light. So while it seems like the greatest idea, when you only have a few Hydras out, it's very dangerous until you get a lot of them. And then the Hydras, if there's a lot of them, can get powered down by a ground army as well. So it's very tricky to get right, and I'm a little bit surprised that he's chosen to do this. A lot of players just don't like messing with the Hydras in this situation.
Yeah, it's mainly the Colossi follow-up that is really difficult to deal with. And these Queens actually doing quite a good job, but one of them get caught on the high ground. There is no creep connecting his main and his natural. That is a big mistake there by Ragnarok, and he's going to lose so much right now. That's actually quite devastating. He's going to lose quite a few Queens. His Hydras are coming out a few at a time. They're going to be picked up quite quickly at the same time, just like that, because the Phoenix is actually doing an insane amount of damage to the Hydras.
Yeah, and this Void Ray has stayed charged.
Oh, he's out of energy, so he has to go home.
But, I mean, that Void Ray has 6 kills. He took down, what, 4 Queens, a couple Hydras as well. And this is where it becomes difficult, because he lost a bunch of the early Hydras, so now he has to remake them. So now there's not going to be as many Roaches in front of them. When they get into a ground engagement, he needs to make sure he has enough Roaches in front of him to protect against the Colossus. But since he's having to rebuild Hydralisks, that's going to be very difficult. He's trying to make a Spire, so he's going to go into the really old-school Roach Hydra Corruptor style to deal with the incoming Colossus. He knows there's Colossus on the way after that lead-in. And this style can be very difficult because getting the Corruptor count perfect is very difficult, but also really important. If you overinvest in the Corruptors, your ground army just loses, and if you don't have enough, then the Colossus tear you apart.
Yeah, that's very true. We do see these Phoenixes coming into the third base again. He's going to lose his Queen. There's only one Spore Crawler to defend the drones here. And Puzzle is now up in supply, taking a third base of his own. Once he gets that 3 to 4 Colossi count, I think he's just going to push over the map and actually just outright kill Ragnarok. But Ragnarok is moving out here. He's got that 1 Colossi. He doesn't have Extended Thermal Lance here yet, though, Railcoon. And there's a lot of Zealots and Sentries here. So he's going to have to be very careful against these Hydras. But of course, with that Colossi, it should be okay. At least to buy time for more units to come out. And, oh, Ragnarok actually choosing to turn around.
Yeah, this is pretty dangerous for Ragnarok, though. I mean, look at how few Roaches he has in front of these Hydralisks. He's going forward, and it's pretty brave to apply pressure when the Roach count is that low. So I think that's why he just backed off. He saw some Colossus and was like, ooh, I want some more Roaches. A bunch more did just pop out, so if you can get these units positioned a little bit better, get those Roaches in front, because the Hydras are kind of in front now. And now there's Corruptors on the way. 7 is a pretty good number. There's an 8th one. Any more than that will probably be overinvestment. So he probably wants to back these up with more Roaches. And he's getting about the right unit composition. It's just going to come down to control and positioning from this point.
Yeah, that's very true. Puzzle did cancel his third base here, though, so he is going to go for that 2-base fight, just pretty much just crush him style. We've got a Warp Prism on the way that will be able to warp in reinforcements, and he's got this Observer following around Ragnarok's army in the middle of the map here as well. So he's going to be able to position himself to not allow a run-by. He's going to go straight into that. There are quite a few Corruptors here now as well. And here we go. We got two Colossi here in total, but here come the Phoenixes to try and cover the Colossi a little bit. But actually, Ragnarok has quite a nice concave here. He's going to lose 1 Colossi. He's going to get the second one as well. But is he barely going to have enough of these Colossi just staying alive? And he's going to barely crush through that.
Yeah, and look at that. The Phoenix is immediately lifting up as many of the Hydralisks as he could. The issue was, I don't think all of the Corruptors are actually shooting at the Colossus there. I was watching them, and I think some of them were actually pinging the Phoenixes. So a little bit missed-micro there from Ragnarok when he really needed to make sure that those Colossus went down as fast as possible. Now, Puzzle's army is just blinking quite nicely. No, not blinking. He's just repositioning nicely to take on the rest of those units. And his Hydras got separated from the Roaches by the force fields pretty badly, which allowed Puzzle to power down the Roaches and then just deal with the Hydralisks once they were by himself. He needed to position his Roaches and Hydras a little bit more carefully at the beginning of that fight, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see a 4 Zealot drop's going to come down into the third base here very shortly. And Puzzle, with that third base up and running again, I really feel that if he didn't have that Warp Prism with his army, he probably would have lost right there, because he did get like 1 or 2 rounds of Warp-ins. And he is actually sitting a good 70 supply down, mainly due to this Roach Hydra Corruptor army, but as we saw from the last game...
Why is he breaking those rocks?
I don't know.
He just broke the rocks leading into his natural, which is a little bit unusual. Usually Protoss like to have that narrow for force fields, and he just opened it up, which is generally better for the Zerg player. And he doesn't have the rocks between his natural and his third down.
Yeah.
So now Ragnarok is actually coming in. I'm wondering if that was actually mistaken, if he was just hitting the wrong rocks. Because it seems really unusual that you would open up those other ones and not these ones, but Ragnarok's going to pay him back that nice little favor, open up those rocks for him, and back off. So it's just a little bit unusual there. They're back up to 2 Colossus now. But the other thing is he's
just nowhere near the supply. Yeah. This like pure army is just going to walk straight over Puzzle, I feel. He's coming in right now. He's going to kill off a lot of these buildings. The 2 Colossi at the back are going to be staying alive for a little bit. But at the same time, there's so many roaches here. The force field energy is going to disappear. And here they come. Everything else, the supply count just too high here for Ragnarok.
Puzzle Colossus are tearing him apart, though. All the Cuptors are dead because he never rebuilt any of them. Those 2 Colossus did a ton of damage. He did actually finally kill them. So there's more Stalkers coming in. He might actually... Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's the GG coming out here for Puzzle. And congratulations to him. And oh, my Puzzle GIF is being weird. But anyway... sorry, my Ragnarok GIF is being weird. Congratulations to Ragnarok. Here we'll move into the winners match coming down. We will see who he plays next. Is it going to be Slayer's Arthur or is it going to be NS Hoso Seal? We'll be right back. Stay with us.